also here in the College of Business.
Thanks. Well, good afternoon. I almost said good morning. I forget to say good afternoon when it's afternoon. So, all right. So, welcome everyone. So, I was instructed to talk to you about time management. I don't know how I got a reputation as being the productivity and time management guy, but I'm a nerd and I like this stuff. I didn't dress up for you. I would have dressed like you, but I have another presentation this afternoon. So, to people who I think dress like this. So just pretend that I look better than I do. Okay. So that's a good general rule, by the way. Just pretend that I look better. All right. So we're going to talk about how to get stuff done, which is really more important than time management. Okay. All right. So we'll have a little interaction here and a couple of things that if you sort of participate and play along, that you'll probably get a little more out of this. If that's all right. Can we kind of have that agreement? Yes. No. Maybe. Cool. Thanks. Appreciate the enthusiasm. All right, good. So, anybody ever been stressed out? Anybody ever been stressed out? Good. Just one or two people. Good. Anybody have a lot of stuff to do? You just feel overwhelmed and totally unmotivated to do any of it? Good. Anybody feel like this right now? Okay. Sorry. Okay. All right. So, one more question. Anybody ever have a lot of stuff on your mind, made a list, and felt better? Okay. Why?
You can cross stuff off of it.
Because you can cross stuff off of it. Good. Why else? What if you can't cross stuff off of it yet? What if you just wrote it down but you still feel better?
Gives you a plan.
You have a plan. Who said that? Good. I like that. What else? One more.
Gets it out of your head.
Gets it out of your head. Good. All right. So you can cross stuff off. You know that eventually the end will be in sight, right? You've got a plan, and it gets it out of your head. This one is particularly important, right? It gets it out of your head. Thank you for nailing it the third time. All right, gets it out of your head. Why does this matter? Simple. Your mind does not know the difference between a well-imagined thought and reality. All kudos to those of you who know her, Kinder Myers, who designed this presentation. All right, so what does that mean? Your mind doesn't know the difference between a well-imagined thought and reality. When you think of something that you need to do, for example, oh, I need to go to the store and get XYZ, okay? Your brain makes a commitment to do that right then and there, okay? It sees you going to the store and getting whatever that is. Your brain not only doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality, but it also doesn't know the difference between past, present, and future. It has no sense of time. Why is this important? When you make these commitments to do this or that, even if you do so subconsciously, your brain thinks you ought to be doing that thing all the time until it's done. That's the way your brain works, and that's why you're stressed out, by the way. So, anybody have a place in your life, a car, a closet, a room, a garage, depending on what your life is like, that looks something like this? Let me prove my point with this. If you have a place that's a total wreck and desperately needs to be cleaned, have you ever noticed that every single time you walk by that place, your brain says, why are we not stopping to clean the closet? It's dirty and I know we need to clean it. Go on, that's a mess, right? That's where the stress comes from. Your brain's beating you up and stressing you out every single time you walk by your closet or get in your car and try to get in your car and try to go anywhere, right? Okay. All right, so, and it doesn't understand why you're not cleaning the closet. So what's the solution? Be stressed out all the time? Okay, you could clean the closet, right? No, you said no, right? I assume you said no because you figured that I have some solution beyond just asking you rhetorical questions. Okay. Thanks for the laughs. All right. So what's the solution? Be stressed all the time? No, the solution is not to be stressed all the time. Trick your brain. How do you trick your brain? Remember when I asked you when you felt better when you made a list? Ta-da. That's it. Okay. Yeah. All right. The reason you felt better is because by making the list, you said, hey, brain, you don't have to remember this stuff anymore. I have it right here in this trusty little list. Now, the next place it breaks down is you lose the list, right? All right. So your brain goes, hey, cool. productivity. If you want to get stuff done, what are the keys to effective productivity? How am I going to tie this together with lists? Anybody do any kind of coding in here? Ever learn to do any kind of coding? Like computer coding? Ever learn anything? Zeros and ones, right? Of productivity right here. If you want to be productive, if you want to get stuff done, these are the two things that you've constantly got to be thinking about. What is the outcome that I'm trying to accomplish? And what's the next action that gets me closer to that outcome? That's it. Every single thing. By the way, you figure this out every single time you think of any commitment that you need to make in your life, right? Every single time you make some kind of commitment, you're always at some level thinking through, what am I trying to accomplish here? And what would be the next thing that would move me closer to that goal? That's what this is all about. Outcomes and actions. What does that have to do with making to-do lists and cleaning your closet and stupid stuff like that? And money, that's not Napoleon Dynamite. I'm sorry. All right. Here's the thing. Most people's to-do lists. Okay, so before we talk about most people's to-do lists, let's go back to your to-do list. So many people said, I made a list, I felt better. You raised your hand then. How many people have made a list and not felt so good? Like, holy crap, I got a lot of stuff to do. Right? You know what I'm talking about? Like the list stresses you out more than the stuff that when it was just in your head, right? Like you were stressed and you wrote it all down and then you're like, oh, this is not good. Okay, good. Right. Why? Because most people's to-do lists are still incomplete lists of still unclear stuff. Most people's to-do lists are incomplete lists of still unclear stuff. What does that mean? Here are things that you will find on most people's to-do lists. Mom. Cat.
What?
Essay. Test. Car. Pizza. Most people's to-do lists are incomplete lists of still unclear stuff. What does that mean? What is the outcome and what is the action on any of these things? It's not defined. So it's still stressful to you because you look at this list and go, oh, I got to figure out what this means. Well, I'm not going to do that one. Oh, I got to figure out what this means. Well, I'm not going to do that one, right? And so you just cycle through the whole list. So for example, let's break one down. Let's take Mom, for example. You participated. Can I pick on you some more?
Go ahead.
Great. What's your name?
Shayna.
Shayna. I assume everyone in here has a mom, right? You're alive, so okay. All right. So, Shayna, I said to Shayna, why is Mom on your to-do list? And she goes, because Mom's birthday's coming up. Okay. All right. I say, great, Shayna. What are you going to do about Mom's birthday? And she goes, well, I guess I'm going to get her a gift. I say, great, Shayna. What's the next step on getting your mom a gift? And she goes, well, do you have any siblings?
I did.
What siblings do you have?
I have a lot. I have 2 older siblings and 2 younger.
Okay, but what, like brothers, sisters?
3 brothers, 1 sister.
3 brothers, 1 sister. She said, well, I need to call my brothers and my sister and see if they want to go in on a gift from Mom with me, because honestly, I'm cheap and I don't like her that much, right? So, okay. And so, I'm just kidding. And so, I say, great, Shayna. Do you know how to get in touch with your brothers and sister? And she goes, yeah, I can text them, right? And I go, great. Now we have a next action, right? We also have an outcome. What's the outcome? Somebody other than poor Shayna who has done her duty today. What's the outcome? Get a gift from Mom. What's the next action? Thank you. Great. Got it? Good. Play along. Get something to write on or with. You can use your phone. It's fine. Everybody in here's got a phone with them. It's the fastest thing. Go find some blank space on your phone, a notes app, something like that. I asked you a little while ago who was stressed right now. Just about every single person in this room raised their hand. So either you lied to me then or you're lying to me now. So if you're stressed, and even if you're not, play along anyway. Start you a little list. Dump everything out of your head. If it's on your mind, write it down. Whatever it is, even if it's already written down someplace else. This is a fake place you get to point here. Write it down. I'm going to call out the cheaters. I'm going to go look at the people that are texting. This should be largely an individual activity unless the person sitting next to you has as your to-do list? Alright, so let's have some fun with this. Somebody give me something that's on your list. Loans? Loans. I heard them twice. Great. Alright, give me some other things. Start my homework that's due tomorrow. Hey, that's better than start my homework that's due today. Clean my car. I've convicted you, right? Laundry? Clean my clothes. Good. What else? Hang on. Study for test next week. What was over here? Do the dishes? Oh, that's nice. You want to come do mine? One or two more. What was it? Okay. One more.
Tire rotation.
Tire rotation. Oh, let's do tire rotation. Oh, yeah. Where was it? Tire rotation. Got that. Sorry. I got the general idea. You need to get your tires rotated? Okay. They'll do yours for you. Okay. All right, so tire rotation. This is a good one, right? Tire rotation. What's the outcome? What do you want done? What do you want accomplished? When are you done? What? Yeah, what's the outcome you have? Huh?
Tires rotating.
I want the tires rotated. Do you need any new ones? Just checking. All right. So we need the tires rotated and we need an alignment. Good. Okay. All right. Good. So what's the next action to get there? Are you going to do it yourself? Okay. Oh, no. Well, hey, I don't know. You may be got skills. I don't know what your skills are. Okay. All right. So you're not. Where are you going to go? Well, I have to look it up. What?
Call the dealer.
Call the dealer? Who's taking that order? The dealership. Right, so he's going to go to Discount Tire. I don't know what he's going to do, right? He's going to go to Discount Tire. He's got an action and an outcome now, right? Right? You with me? Okay. This is a lot easier than I got to get the tires rotated. When do most people start dealing with I got to get the tires rotated?
When it gets cold.
Blowout was really what I was looking for, right? Damn, should have gotten the tires rotated. Alright, okay. So, you gotta move to the next action level every single time. Alright, cool. Well, do the dishes. We can't do anything with that one, right? You gotta do the dishes. What's the homework?
Homework and university.
Yeah, what do you need to
Chapter
say?
and write, answer questions and do the vocab.
Read a chapter, answer questions, do the vocab. Alright, good. You have the book? You have some time?
Yeah.
Okay. So we got you have everything you need? Okay, good. So we got a next action, right? We have an outcome, completed homework. Sit down and do the stuff sometime? Okay. All right, good. All right, you get the idea here. All right, so let's move on. So then, the keys to effective productivity: outcome, define the outcome. What are you trying to accomplish? Define the action. Anybody in here ever try to play a game where you don't know how to win? What usually happens when you play a game where you don't know how to win? Yeah, you try to cheat, somebody loses, there's crying, people throw things, right? Okay, you know what I'm talking about. That's also what happens when you play Monopoly, regardless of whether you know how to win, right? Has anybody ever successfully played Monopoly without somebody getting mad at the end of the game? All right. I'd like to talk to people that made Monopoly to find out the answer. Okay, so you got to have the outcome and the action. What's the third thing you got to have in order to be successful? Good. That's a business school answer right there, where that came from. I like that. All right, good. The third thing you got to have is a map. Something to tell you how, when, and where to get the action done to accomplish the outcome. By the way, you may find in your life that you have multiple actions that you need to take to achieve an outcome, right? Maybe he wants to make an appointment to get his tires rotated, not just show up and hope that he doesn't have to wait, right? So now he's got a couple of actions, right? One is call Discount Tire. 2 is go to Discount Tire at whatever the time is, right? Yeah. 3 is do something to get some money to pay for the tire rotation, right? We're all, well, you're all college students, I'm not. All right, good. So you get the general idea here, right? You need something organized in some way, shape, or form rather than just one big long to-do list that tells you, hey, this is the next thing I need to do to move this forward, and this is the next thing I need to do to move this forward, right? One great way to do that, by the way, to create a map for yourself, is to organize stuff by where the action happens. Where do you need to do whatever, right? Think about this for a second, right? You probably several people told me things that they needed to do that did not happen here, right? In fact, a lot of people, I'm assuming the do the dishes stuff was at home. Is that correct? Okay, good. I didn't know where the dishes people were. Thank you. Okay, clean the closet. I'm assuming your closet is at home. It's not some random closet in the College of Business. Is that correct?
I think so, yeah. I said clean my car.
Clean your car. Okay, well that's not. Who cleaned the closet?
It is here though.
Oh, the closet was my pick. Well, yeah, but that's a different issue. All right, we'll stick with do the dishes. This is not working really well. Could you play along for just a second? All right, so do the dishes is not here, right? Now, there's lots of stuff that you all probably could do at home. Are you at home? You probably would like to be at home instead of here with me at this point, right? And I don't blame you. I would like to be at home too, okay? You're not at home, right? So you've got a couple of options. Hope you remember that when you're at home. Write it down somewhere in some incomplete form, and then hope that you figure out what to do and care enough to do something about it when you're at home. Or like put it on a list of things that you need to do at home that you don't look at until you're at home, because that's smart, right? Anybody ever have a flashlight with dead batteries? You know, like before flashlights were in your phone? Okay. Well, I mean, that wasn't that long ago, right? That was only like 2 years ago that they added a flashlight to a phone, right? Okay. All right. So, if you had a flashlight with dead batteries, when did most people remember that the batteries were dead in the flashlight? When they went to turn it on and the power was out, right? This is stupid. This is how most people function, right? If you were smart, when would you remember that you needed batteries for the flashlight? This is good. Deep stuff right here. When you're standing in front of good new batteries in the store with money, right? That's a good time to remember, hey, I need batteries for the flashlight. You look confused. Oh, okay. So, wouldn't it be great if you had, like, on a list somewhere when you go to the store, like, hey, get new batteries. You see what I'm saying, right? Maps. All right, good. Enough of that. I'm ranting here. So what should you do to immediately and exponentially reduce your stress? How do you get your stress level to go down? What have you learned so far? Write it down. Get it out of here. The stress is right here. For the most part. All right, so write everything down. You can write it down digitally, okay? But get it out of your head. Don't have a thought twice unless you like the thought, right? All right. Then take a minute to figure out what? Say it again. Okay, which means clarifying what two things? Action and outcome. Thank you very much. Good. All right. This will hurt. Thinking hurts some people a little bit, okay? But if you do it long enough, it'll probably become second nature, and that'll be great. You're all business majors, right? Is everybody a business major? Yes. Anybody not a business major? All right. Well, you guys can just benefit from being in the room with business people. Okay, so everybody in here is a business major. I assume you want to be a successful business professional who makes a lot of money and, you know, has a successful career at some point in your life, right? Here's a really cool thing. You start thinking this way, what are we trying to accomplish and what's the next thing to move us forward? You'll be sitting in meetings and somebody will be running at the mouth, much like me up here, right? Saying stupid stuff, and you'll go, excuse me, what are we trying to accomplish here and what's the next action that will move it forward? And everybody else in the room will go, oh, thank God somebody was smart enough to actually say that. You'll get a promotion. Seriously. I'm not kidding. You scoffed. I'm not kidding. This is the kind of stuff that separates people that actually perform well from people that don't in organizations. Really, right? Okay. There's your key to being a successful business professional. All right. By the way, you might be thinking, geez, this sounds like a lot of work, right? I'd rather just be stressed out. Not really, right? I don't want to take productivity advice from somebody who's not trying to figure out how to be lazy. Lazy to me is not having anything on your mind, right? It's sitting there not worrying about anything, being stressed out about anything. Okay? lazy and do this stuff, right? I mean, a lazy person can go, the cat needs cat food. Maybe I'll put that on a list of things to get at the store the next time I'm there. The cat will get his food, he won't die, and I will be able to relax for a little while. No dead cats. All right, good. So they told me to talk to you about time management. It's not about time management. So let's talk about this a little bit. I'll give you a little practice that works, a little best practice that works for college students particularly. Okay? But first, so what would you say is your primary job as a college student? School. All right, that's reasonable enough. Study. That's good too. School is fine. How about that? All right, so anybody in here ever had any kind of like shift type job? Maybe you work in a restaurant where you have to be there for certain hours, or you work in a retail outlet or something like that. Any kind of office job where you have to be there for certain hours. Okay, everybody's got something like that. Okay, good. Hold that job in your head while we talk about this stuff. Okay, so how do you use a calendar effectively? I know this sounds like, how to be an adult 101, right? But let's talk about how to really use a calendar effectively, not the way we all think we should. There's only 3 things that really belong on a calendar, right? By the way, who is even using a calendar as some part of your life right now? Okay, good. All right, that's the majority of the people in here. Not everybody. All right. So the calendar gives you the hard landscape stuff, right? If you don't do this stuff today, it's going to die. Like your homework is not going to get turned in kind of stuff, right? Well, although yours is due tomorrow, so you're still all right, right? Okay, good. Straight. Okay, so what goes on a calendar? Time-specific appointments. Stuff that has to be done at a certain time. Come here and do the passport workshop, right? Crap like that. What else goes on there? Stuff that needs to be done on a specific day, right? Homework needs to be done today because I don't have time to do it tomorrow, and it's due tomorrow. Maybe you do have time to do it tomorrow, but that's where you decide. And day-specific information, stuff you want to know. Today's the day that my boss is going to be away, so I can actually get some work done. Today's the day that I don't have class. Today's the day that my parents are going to be out of town, so I'm going to have a wild kegger. I don't know what you're going to do with your life, okay? All right, so these 3 things go on a calendar. By the way, you put these last 2, just stick them in the all-day event space. That's a good place for those things, okay? All the other stuff obviously goes at the time. The reason this stuff is so important is because it's really great if you can sort of evaluate opportunities against the hard landscape of your day, right? So, let's say you get here. You go to class. You've got stuff to do. Your friend comes up to you and says, hey, let's go get Chick-fil-A, because you're going to pass up Chick-fil-A, right? You need to be able to quickly decide, do I want Chick-fil-A or do I need to actually get some stuff done, right? Am I going to go to the passport event with Escamilla or am I going to go to Chick-fil-A? Obviously, you all made the wrong decision. Okay, but still, I don't know what kind of extra credit you're getting, but it ain't worth me. All right, so 3 good uses for the calendar here. Things that happen at a specific time, things that need to be done on a specific day, and stuff that you want to know on a specific day. All right. Good. So, here's a day in my life. Actually, it's not really, so you don't get to see that anymore. I'll show you a real day in my life some other time. All right. So, what goes on your calendar? So, back to the job you were holding in your head, right? What would you say are the meetings or shifts of a college student? Class. Good. All right. Great. So you probably want to have those in any kind of hard landscape area of your calendar, right? Is there stuff associated with classes that might go on a calendar? Yeah, like this is the day of the exam, and this is the due date for, some giant paper that I have to write, or some project that has to be done, right? Good stuff like that. And next Friday's the day the blah, blah, blah happens and stuff like that. See, the calendar is just another form of an action list, right? It has outcomes clarified, and the next action is to be someplace at a certain time or do something on a certain day. Okay, so you're starting to see how this all comes together? Good. So, one other thing that you might want to do with yourself. So, Shayna said that she has homework that's due tomorrow, right? Okay, and she needs to do that. And I asked her if she had time, right? Well, let's say that there's more interesting things that she might want to do than homework. It could be anything, right? Go out to dinner, have a drink, have a a couple of drinks, right? Anything like that. Okay, so let's say that Shayna wants to do something more interesting. Well, if you have some self-discipline, and you got to decide if you do. I don't. Okay, so this is not a best practice for me. Hey, I don't. All right. So this is not a best practice for me, but maybe it is for you. If you have some self-discipline, make an appointment with yourself to do the stuff that you need to do that you're never otherwise going to get to do. That's a good key to success right there, okay? Both as a student and as an adult professional. But you got to keep the appointment with yourself, right? So what's your name? DeMarco. DeMarco? DeMichael, sorry. Okay. So DeMichael, if I make an appointment with you, right, we're going to go have dinner tonight, right? And I just don't show up, how do you feel? Mad. Okay, good. Yeah, you wasted your time, right? Or I wasted your time, technically, right? Okay, good. So, there's some accountability there, right? He's going to be like, hey, jerk, where were you, right? You know, you said you were going to have dinner with me, right? I thought you were going to buy it, right? And stuff like that. Okay, so, if I make an appointment with myself, who's holding me accountable? Well, me, but really nobody, right? So if I don't have self-discipline to follow through on that appointment, there's no real sort of negative consequence except maybe I don't get the homework done, right? Okay, so that's why you got to be careful about scheduling time with yourself. However, if you have a lot of self-discipline, then maybe you want to schedule time with yourself. All right, let's recap. First thing you need to do to feel less stressed, anytime you feel stressed out, write it all down. Just write it down. Be amazed at how much better you feel. Second thing you need to do, clarify the outcome and action. What are you trying to accomplish, and what's the next thing that moves that forward? Then, put those things in some place that you'll see them with some regularity. Okay? That's how your brain stays relaxed. That's the sort of equivalent of not losing the list, right? Okay? Good. All right, you have any questions for me? I have something else for you. Anybody have any questions? All right, so here's the summary of everything right here. A vision without a task is but a dream. A task without a vision is drudgery. But a vision and a task together is the hope of the world. That was a nicely timed chime. Good. All right, go away. Bye.